There are places that change you. Colombia is one of them. This isn't just a journey through a country, it's a story written in color, in the gold light that spills over mountain ranges, in the deep green of coffee plantations that seem to breathe, in the coral and turquoise of colonial walls that have stood for centuries. From high Andean peaks to two different oceans, from cities that have reinvented themselves to villages where time moves differently, Colombia doesn't just invite you to visit, it invites you to feel. So let's begin. 2,600 meters above the sea, the air is thin and the city is endless. Bogotá sprawls across a plateau like a secret waiting to be discovered. In La Candelaria, the old heart of the capital, colonial houses lean into narrow streets. Their walls tell stories in graffiti and gold, centuries of history painted over and painted again. You walk cobblestones worn smooth by time. Street vendors sell emerald green juice and hot chocolate so thick you need a spoon. Somewhere, a musician plays bambuco on a guitar that's seen better days. Then, you climb Monserrate. The city unfolds below you, stretching toward mountains that seem to touch the edges of forever. Up here, between earth and sky, you understand something. This country is a collision of extremes, and it works. The food here grounds you. Ajiaco soup, a bowl filled with 3 kinds of potatoes, chicken, and corn, tastes like someone's grandmother made it just for you. The coffee is so good you'll wonder why you ever settled for anything else. At night, you might stay at the Four Seasons Casa Medina, where old-world elegance meets contemporary comfort, or at Click-Clack Bogotá, where every room feels like a gallery. But the real luxury is simpler, standing in the Candelaria at dusk, watching the city lights blink awake one by one. Before you leave, take a graffiti tour, let a local guide decode the walls. These aren't just murals, they're arguments, love letters, and revolutions painted in aerosol. Some cities grow, Medellín transformed. Once, this city was synonymous with violence, now it's a symbol of what's possible when a place refuses to give up on itself. Comuna tells this story best. You ride an escalator up a hillside, simple infrastructure that changed everything. At the top, color explodes. Every wall is a mural, every corner has music, hip-hop beats mixed with salsa, and vendors sell mango slices dusted with chili and lime. This neighborhood was a war zone 2 decades ago. Today, it's hope made visible. Take the cable car to Parque Arvi, and suddenly you're floating above the city, watching it shrink beneath you as cloud forest rises to meet the sky. The air cools, the sounds of traffic fade to birdsong. At night in El Poblado, you eat bandeja paisa, a plate so loaded with food it feels like a challenge. Beans, rice, ground beef, chorizo, chicharrón, fried egg, arepa, and a slice of avocado that makes it all somehow work. Wash it down with aguardiente, the anise-flavored spirit locals swear by. Stay at the Charlie if you want to be in the heart of the scene, or Hotel 23 if you prefer something more intimate, where design meets soul. But here's the secret. Drive 2 hours to Guatapé. The town itself looks like a coloring book came to life. Every building painted with bright panels depicting animals, people, and patterns. But the real reason you came is visible from everywhere. El Peñol Rock, 740 steps. They wind up the side of this massive granite monolith like a crack in the earth's armor. Your legs burn, your lungs complain, then you reach the top. The view is biblical. A reservoir stretches in every direction, fractured into hundreds of islands and inlets, like someone shattered a mirror of green water. It's the kind of sight that makes you pull out your phone, then put it away because nothing you capture will do it justice. If Colombia has a postcard, it's Cartagena. The walled city is a fever dream of beauty. Bougainvillea spills over balconies in purple and pink cascades. Horse-drawn carriages clatter over stones that Spanish conquistadors laid 4 centuries ago. In the shade of a doorway, an old woman sells passion fruit juice from a cart. You walk through the clock tower, the entrance to the old city, and time shifts. Suddenly you're in Plaza Santo Domingo, where Botero's reclining bronze woman gleams in the sun, and cafes serve coffee so strong it could wake the dead. The Castillo de San Felipe de Barajas fortress rises above the city like a stone crown. You climb its tunnels and ramparts, imagining pirates on the horizon. From up here, you can see both the city and the sea, 2 worlds meeting at the edge of history. But Cartagena's real magic happens at golden hour. You board a boat to the Rosario Islands, cutting through water so blue it looks photoshopped. At Playa Blanca, the sand is so white it glows. You swim in water warm as a bath, then eat fresh ceviche under a palm frond roof while the sun melts into the Caribbean. Back in the city, as the sky turns to embers, you find yourself at Café Del Mar. The bar sits on top of the old wall, overlooking the sea. Below, waves crash against stone. Around you, people toast in Spanish and English and German. The moment feels eternal. Stay at Sofitel Santa Clara, a converted monastery where nuns once walked in silence, or Casa San Agustin, where colonial meets contemporary in the best possible way. This is the Colombia of telenovelas and Gabriel Garcia Marquez novels. It's real, and it's yours for the taking. Some places run on electricity. The coffee region runs on altitude, rain, and patience. In Valle de Cocora, wax palm trees rise like nature's skyscrapers, the tallest in the world, some reaching 60 meters. They're absurdly graceful, swaying in wind you can't quite feel down below. Hiking through this valley, surrounded by these giants, you understand why Colombia's landscape feels mythical. In the town of Salento, everything is painted in primary colors. Yellow buildings, red doors, blue shutters. You hop in a Willy Jeep, those vintage World War II vehicles locals never stopped using, and bump up roads that wind through coffee plantations. A farmer named Don Jose, there's always a Don Jose, shows you how coffee grows. Green cherries that ripen to red, picked by hand, one by one. He roasts a small batch over coals, and the smell that rises is so rich and chocolatey you want to breathe it forever. You drink it black, sitting on a wooden porch overlooking hills that ripple into the distance like a green ocean frozen mid-wave. Someone brings fresh trout and corn arepa smeared with butter. For a moment, the world is very, very simple. Stay in a hacienda. Hacienda Bambusa is one, a restored coffee farm where your room overlooks the plantation and the only sounds are roosters, birdsong, and the distant hum of the coffee depulper. Here, time isn't measured in hours, it's measured in harvests, in seasons, in the slow perfection of a process unchanged for generations. Colombia is one of the few countries in the world with both Caribbean and Pacific coastlines, and they're nothing alike. The jungle comes right to the edge of the ocean in the Tayrona National Park, as if it can't decide where to stop. You hike through dense forest, humid, loud with insects and monkeys, and then suddenly the trees open up and there it is. Turquoise water meeting golden sand, waves rolling in with the kind of rhythm that makes you forget where you are. Cabo San Juan is the most famous beach, where hammocks hang under palm trees and you can camp with nothing between you and the stars. In Minca, up in the hills behind Santa Marta, eco-lodges cling to mountainsides. You swim in waterfalls that drop into pools so clear you can see every stone on the bottom. The Pacific coast is a different planet, rougher, wilder, wetter. Between July and October, humpback whales arrive to give birth in these warm waters. From Nuki or Bahia Solino, you take a boat out into the open ocean, and then you see it, a 40-ton animal breaching, launching itself completely out of the water and crashing back down with a sound like thunder. You watch in silence. Some things are too big for words. Here, Afro-Colombian culture pulses through everything. At night, drums echo from the shore. Someone is playing curulao, and the rhythm is hypnotic, ancestral, alive. The food tastes different here, more coconut, more fish, flavors carried across an ocean centuries ago. Stay in Ocohabs in Tayrona or beachfront cabins in the Pacific. Sleep to the sound of waves, wake to the screech of parrots. Off the main road, Colombia keeps its deepest secrets, Barichara. They call it the prettiest town in Colombia, and they might be right. Everything here is made of golden stone. Churches, houses, the streets themselves. Walk slowly, this isn't a place to rush through. San Agustin. In the green hills of the south, ancient statues stare up from the earth. No one knows exactly who carved them or why, but they've been here for over 1,000 years. Faces frozen in expressions we can only guess at. The archaeological park is a mystery written in stone. At the southern tip of Colombia, where three countries meet, the Amazon River flows wide and brown and full of secrets. In Leticia, you take a boat into the jungle. A guide points out caimans on the bank, their eyes reflecting like coins. Then, impossibly, you see a flash of pink, river dolphins, ancient and rare, surfacing for just a moment before disappearing back into the murky water. The jungle at night is not quiet. It roars with frogs and insects and sounds you can't quite identify. You're a guest here, nothing more. This is Colombia, not one story, but 1,000. Not one rhythm, but a symphony. From the high cold air of Bogotá to the humid embrace of the Amazon, from cities rewriting their own history to villages where nothing much has changed, this country doesn't fit into easy categories. It contradicts itself. It surprises you. It stays with you long after you leave. The food lingers on your tongue. The music follows you home. The colors, oh God, the colors, they show up in your dreams. Colombia doesn't ask to be understood. It asks to be felt. And once you let it in, it becomes part of your own story. A chapter you'll return to again and again, remembering the way the light fell on the water, the way a stranger smiled and offered you coffee, the way it felt to stand at the top of a mountain and realize how small you are and how big the world is. This is more than travel, this is transformation, and Colombia is waiting.